Now there are a couple of things I want to highlight before we get started. Posture looks excellent. You are in an athletic stance, your back is straight, the setup looks great, and that will set you up to be successful making a golf swing moving forward. Now, let's talk about the grip. If you can see here, you see what she does with her right thumb. She grips it on the left side of the shaft. Now, grip falls into the basic fundamentals category, and it is a very essential part of the golf swing to set you up for success. And what I want you to do moving forward is rotate that right hand just a little bit, taking your right thumb and making that grip pressure be a little bit more on top of the club, making your grip a little bit more neutral. And I believe this will allow you to square the club at impact a little bit better, because if you see here, once we get to impact, that club face is very open and the outcome of the shot is directly right. Now when you make this grip adjustment, it'll allow you to square the face a little bit more at impact, and the ball will jump off the face and be more straight down the line. So it's a very essential adjustment that I think will be a little bit difficult to learn at first. A lot of beginners struggle to feel comfortable when making a grip adjustment, but I think if we can get out of the habit of making that right hand very strong and bringing it back to neutral, it will be beneficial to your face angle at impact moving forward. Now, I'm sure you've heard a lot of instructors talk about balance. I want you to pay attention to what she does before she makes a golf swing here. And I'm going to highlight it. Watch her feet right before she makes the backswing. As you can see, she shifts her weight from her toes to her heels a couple of times before making the swing. Now, in my opinion, balance is a very, very critical aspect of the golf swing. And from what I see here, it shows me that she may feel a little bit uncomfortable before making the swing, which creates a little animosity before making the golf swing, and therefore will not set you up for success. So what I want you to do here in the setup is really focus on just keeping your weight in one place, a little bit on the balls of your feet, more towards your toes, instead of going back and forth like that. But once we get there, you can see the balance, and then we'll move along in the swing a little bit. As you can see, when she takes the club away, she's going to then lean her head forward. Like I said, balance is very, very important. So her leaning forward and staying there allows the face to be open, and therefore the outcome of the shot will be directly to the right. Now, if you can establish a good base in your preparation and have that weight be a little bit on the balls of your feet and more towards the toes, and you can keep that consistent base, it'll allow your balance during the backswing and the downswing to be very, very good and have minimal forward and backward movements, allowing you to have a more consistent strike. So I believe that in the long run, this will help develop a better confidence while stepping up to the ball, which will result in better strikes. Now, before we move forward, I want to just take a couple of seconds to highlight the first two objectives that I want her to work on, and that would be the grip. Like I said, I want her to take that right thumb, and I want her to make that grip pressure a little bit more on the top of the club, making the grip more neutral. And the second objective is really just focusing on having a consistent balance. Having that consistent balance will set up the backswing and the downswing for a more consistent strike. Okay, so the third objective of this video would be the club at the top. Now if we take a look here, the backswing looks great. But once we get to the top, if you can see where that club is pointed, it is pointed to the right of the target, and then you can also see the gap between her right elbow and her body. There are a lot of different personal preferences in this aspect of the swing, but I believe there's one specific thing that we can do that will help promote a more consistent strike when she gets down to impact. So that being said, there is one drill I want you to work on to help you bring that club from here and bring it more down the line and at the target. So I call this the towel drill, and if we were to take a look back here, when we get to the setup, I want you to try to place a towel right in the armpit, her right armpit. And what that'll do is, I want you to make the backswing, and I want you to try to keep that towel in that position. So if you get to here and your elbow's a little bit too far to the right and a little disconnected from your body, the towel will drop out. What I want you to try to work on is keeping that towel in that armpit as long as you can through the backswing and then also through the downswing, which will allow you to keep your club a little bit more connected to your body, and it'll allow you to be more consistent throughout the swing. See, I know that's a lot to take in here, but I believe it is a very essential point of the swing that will allow, instead of it being loose and out of the top, it'll allow her to have the club be more connected, consistent through the downswing. Now, the last objective of the video, hip rotation. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to explain because I'm not physically there, but if you take a look in the backswing, rotation is very good, but when we get to impact, I want you to notice which way, if she were to have a belt buckle on, it would be facing. It is pointing this way. And then I want you to pay attention to the shot outcome, directly to the right. Now, hip rotation is very important in starting the ball directly down the target line. If she was to rotate and have that belt buckle and more towards the target, clearing her hips, it would allow her to square the club a little bit more at impact. It's definitely one of the most difficult things to learn, but there are a couple of drills that I believe can help moving forward. These drills may not be able to be utilized indoors, so it's something that you might have to wait to do until you can get out on a physical range. But if we go back to the setup, now there's a couple of resources that you will need. You will need a alignment stick that you can place through a couple of belt loops that'll be pointed down the target, as well as an alignment rod directly, maybe a foot back and a foot behind her. And what you can do is, when making the golf swing and practicing clearing your hips on the downswing, is trying to take that first alignment rod that's through the belt loops that's pointing down the target, and when swinging through, trying to get that alignment rod to hit the one that's about a foot back from her left heel and a foot forward. It'll definitely allow you to feel your hips being cleared, and it will definitely help you clear those hips on the downswing moving forward. So that will wrap up the video analysis for today. I would like to just take a couple of moments to explain the cause and effect of how all of these are linked together, and we'll go back to the beginning of the swing here. Now, because the balance is a little bit off and the grip is a little bit too strong, and the club being pointed to the right of the target at the top, it is not allowing the face to square up at impact, as well as not being able to clear your hips. The face will also be open, and the shot outcome is going to be to the right as expected. Now, if we can take that grip, take that right thumb, and have the pressure be a little bit more on top of the club, it will definitely help square the face. If we can focus on having a good dynamic balance and base before making the swing, it will also set up the other parts of the golf swing in regards to the swing at the top as well as hip rotation. Now, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact me via text or email. I will share my email with you, Dennis, so that if you have any questions about drills or if you want a couple of more drills, I'll be more than happy to provide those to you. But like I said at the beginning of the video, the posture, the setup, everything looks great. There's only just a couple of minor things that I think if we harness those, that the consistent ball striking will exponentially grow, and you'll have a lot more fun moving forward. I appreciate you listening to this video, and have a wonderful new year, and I will look forward to being in contact. Thank you.